Kia ora. Greetings and namaste. Today, on this awesome day, I have a friend who has had some Kappa 6, reference standard Kappa 6 Infinity speakers with me for some time. And the symptom or the reason for that being the mids mainly. He thought the mids were just sounding really crass and not right and quite muffled. So yeah, I'll flip the camera around and show you where I'm up to with these and what the diagnosis is and so forth. Alrighty, so where you going, Pop? She's out of there. So there you have it. Some lovely woodwork on these. I remember these in the 90s when I was with the listening post, and you know, it's a 90s speaker, and we was one of them we sold. Yeah, quite a popular range, really. Quite finely finished, isn't it? Back then, yeah, I had a different perspective, so I think I appreciate them a lot more now. Anyhow, these domes, it's had a replacement mid dome, as you can see there, different to the original poly dome, which had been pushed in. So I've dismantled that and just pushed out the dome and shaped it back as best I can on a first effort. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks nice. So cosmetically, I mean, that's all. It's good. It's functional again now. And we'll just come around the back and I'll show you what's happening in the crossover. Quite nicely, you know, it's a quality finish on these, on the Kappas in some areas. So those two holes there, that's where the pins come up through from the terminals and they secure on there. So I've desoldered those, removed the screw mounts, just so that you can maneuver this board out like so once you've disassembled those screws and the spacers underneath these inductor tabs. So once you've done all that groundwork, you can then, and of course a little safety tie to release those speaker wires. Then you can actually get at it to do some surgery on it. Okay, that's a bit of a better angle, and for the day, for back in the 90s, you know, there's some pretty good, some reasonable parts quality in terms of the poly caps. So I think that's maybe an SCR polypropylene cap there on the that's on the tweeter circuit, and then it's got a very small value bypass wonder cap on there, and sure, maybe you can, I mean, there's definitely improvements that could be made now. You know, it would be great to go right through and recap this and maybe put in some air core inductors, particularly on that bass driver. That'd be interesting to see what changed there with a nice, decent, sizable air core inductor on there. Yeah, for this scenario, the tweeters I found were not going at all on both of these. And through diagnosis of the last one, because this is the second speaker I'm working on now, and I've actually solved the issue, which I found to be, after testing just about everything, you know, removing the tweeter, I disassembled the tweeter, and found it to measure fine. So I just started tracing back from there, eliminating everything in the process. Down here you can see those some little diodes that are basically just voltage checkers and like a protective element. Yet sonically, boy do they degrade. They sap the life out of the music, add some distortion. So if you're anyway serious about your sound and you're a responsible listener, well, you know, what's a responsible listener? That's not the really words to use. If you're serious about your sound and you know, you actually live in the hi-fi world, ditch those, get someone to remove those, or that's my recommendation anyway. If you're serious about it, get those diodes gone. The pots there, I've just removed the covering glue over the wires so I can access those now. Back to the diagnosis. So, oh, there's Bobby again. Anyway, sidetrack there. So those two caps there are in the tweeter circuit. As I said, that's the bypass on this capacitor. That's a 4.5 microfarad, and that's just a little 0.01 or something like that microfarads. That there is a little temperature protection device on the tweeter circuit. Again, on the first one, I've just run a jumper on the other side and bypassed that purely for sonic reasons, and also to eliminate that as a potential fault. It did meter out alright and was testing fine, yet sonically I'm not happy with one of those in the circuit, so I've put a jumper across it. And after all those tests and testing the pots, it turned out that the problem was, and I've seen another person online in one of the forums also write the same thing, that it's these two caps that have gone. Lo and behold, you know, usually these just last and last and last, so it's quite surprising really that they have gone, but they are toast. So that's it, that's the problem. Pop those out and I'll remove the diodes. Also on the pots, I found those through testing as well. Mainly the tweeter one significantly degraded the sound quality, so I bypassed that one just with a jumper. And the mid also saps a wee bit of life. Didn't seem as bad as the tweeter, but enough to, you know, again, if you want, it's the little subtle energy and the magic that's very fine that just makes a difference. It moves a speaker from ho-hum to magical and something that moves you. So I'll put a jumper across both of those, taking those out of circuit, and then these will be sweet. So that's my little news on there. And at that point, they'll be sounding really nice. Another thing I did in the process of testing in these was when I've removed the backplate magnet on these, it's fantastic that, you know, obviously they've got their own enclosure. There's a hole through the centre of the magnet to vent through to that enclosure, and it's nicely damped with you know, some polyfibre. Yet there's a huge flat surface of the magnet plate, and the centre hole is, you know, probably 30mm diameter, somewhere around there. So there's a real lot of flat surface metal, fairly close, like a traditional dome tweeter, that is pretty reflective, you know. So you've got this enclosure behind, but that's only viable once the sound or the back pressure wave goes through that hole. You've still got a lot of rear radiation that can reflect off that metal back plate. So I've also put a piece of felt, not too dissimilar to this, but just a poly felt in behind there, you know, with enough space to be well out of the way of the magnetic gap. So basically like that. I've cut another piece for the second one, which I'll just dive back into and put this in. And that's just glued over the magnet structure, and that should smooth the response just a little bit further, make it a bit sweeter through the mid and a better frequency response, and just, yeah, it'll just sound more harmonious, fewer reflections bouncing back. So that's basically it. A little bit of touch up on the dust gap, and given that the fault's expected to be the same as the previous one, once that's all done and reassembled, they should be sweet. Alrighty, thank you very much for tuning in if you're still watching. Alright, have a fantastic day, and take care, enjoy.